Here's something that'll blow your minds. Voice actors can actually be in more than one thing. Shocking, right? If you've consumed any sort of anime or gaming media in the last 30 or so years, you've more than likely heard the likes of Steve Bloom, Yuri Lowenthal, Sonny Strait, Michelle Ruff, and many, many more. Another voice actor you've probably heard is Johnny Young Bosch, famous for roles such as Vash in Trigun and Ichigo in Bleach. Also recently Broly in Dragon Ball Super. Bosch began his career in the mid-90s, playing Adam Park, the Black Ranger from the second season of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. He was brought on to replace Zack, following a pay dispute, which also saw Jason and Trini leaving, with the in-universe explanation being that they left for a peace conference, and the new Rangers took their place with a cleverly named power transfer. He left the show during Turbo, but would return to reprise his role a few times after that. Following that, he would go on to lend his voice to many other projects, such as what I already just mentioned. But most importantly for this video, in 2008 he provided the voice of Nero, the newcomer protagonist for Devil May Cry 4. Now this isn't too exciting. I mean, voice actors playing more than one role isn't that wild of an idea, but the link between Power Rangers and Devil May Cry goes beyond that, with a handful of actors shared. Of course, it's not some major conspiracy or anything like that. In fact, it's nothing beyond a fun little thing to notice, but I digress. In this video, I'll be going over the actors present in both franchises, as well as a few little extra goodies later on. I just want to state that there may be more like minor roles, such as more stuntmen shared, but these are just the main ones that I could find. I'm going to sound biased here, but Time Force is my absolute favourite season of Power Rangers, so it should come as no surprise that my favourite character is from this one. The show aired in 2001, and it was praised for its dramatic storyline and actually pretty good acting compared to what Power Rangers usually had. 12 episodes into the show, we meet the character Eric Myers, who became the show's 6th Ranger, and is played by Daniel Southworth, already an accomplished stuntman and martial artist. Eric was a bit of a no-nonsense, edgy fighter, who didn't play so well with others, which just made him so much cooler to 6-year-old me. Of course, next to Eric, Dan is most notable for voicing Virgil in Devil May Cry 3 and the following games, with that iconic nasally voice, firmly embedding itself into the ears and hearts of millions of fans worldwide.
Foolishness, Dante. Foolishness. Might controls everything, and without strength, you cannot protect anything.
The fact that my favourite Devil May Cry character is played by my favourite Ranger is totally coincidental, of course. When Dan reprised his role for Eric in the Battle for the Grid game, some of his lines were clear references to Virgil, with his most iconic one of course being present.
I need more quantum power!
Power Rangers Jungle Fury is another one of my personal favourites, with the team's mentor RJ being one of the standout characters. Played by David Delatorre, he was cheeky and charming, simultaneously providing his worth as a great teacher and a laid-back cool dude. 5 years later, he would provide the voice of Virgil in the DMC Devil May Cry reboot by Ninja Theory. Now, full disclosure, I have extremely mixed feelings regarding this game, but I don't really want to jump into that pit of never-ending despair at the moment. Here's some footage of my friend Dave kicking my ass with RJ in Battle for the Grid, just for good measure. So with those three, that's it for the main cast. But don't think that this incredibly tenuous, tinfoily connection ends just there. The pizza-loving, impalement connoisseur, Dante, has been played by Ruben Langdon since Devil May Cry 3. But, about a decade earlier, he'd starred in the Japanese metal hero B-Fighter Kabuto. Metal Hero is a tokusatsu, which is a broad term for Japanese shows that use special effects in live action, along with elaborate costumes such as Kamen Rider, Godzilla, and of course Super Sentai, which would later get adapted into Power Rangers. This then loops right back to Time Force, where Ruben made 2 small roles, as a guy who gets thrown to the car by Katie, and then a tour guide. So all 3 of the Sparta children, and grandchild of course, have been in Power Rangers. Now, in the mid-90s, there was a Mighty Morphin Power Rangers stage show, in which audiences would be treated to plenty of cool stunts and dialogue right before their eyes. The cast here was post-power transfer, which meant that Adam was the Black Ranger, in turn meaning Johnny Young Bosch was there. By itself, this isn't that interesting, but it wasn't uncommon for the on-screen actors to not be the ones wearing the suit during the morph sequences. And who would be the stuntman to don Adam's armour? Dan Southworth. Yes, Adam in suit and out were played by Nero and his father Virgil, respectively. Dan had actually auditioned for the role previously, but lost out to Johnny, but it's nice that he got to do it this way. Now, as far as Power Rangers' connection with Devil May Cry goes, that's pretty much it. However, we're not done with Capcom just yet. Ruben Langdon also did the motion capture for Chris Redfield in Resident Evil 5 and 6. And in the bonus previs footage, we can see him in action in full Chris costume. Going back to Time Force again, the Red Ranger, Wes, was played by Jason Faunt. Jason Faunt was also in Resident Evil 6, providing the mocap as Leon Kennedy, which is also visible in the previs footage with Ruben, where he's dressed up in Leon's getup, complete with a wig, which is a sight that haunts my dreams. Dan also did the mocap for Jake Muller in the game, but as far as I know, there's no previs footage of that. So, there you go. The link between Power Rangers and Devil May Cry that's looped, wrapped in tinfoil, ran through a few hurdles, and is just visible through a microscope. Like I said, it's not a huge or meaningful connection, but I think it's fun to look at anyway, especially as a big fan of both franchises. Thanks for watching. If you're a fan of these sort of videos and want to see more, please leave a like and a subscribe, it really helps. I've already got reviews up of such things as the classic seasons of Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends, and the special anniversary episode of Power Rangers Forever Red. This channel is mainly going to focus on my favourite childhood content, and whether or not it still holds up. But I'm going to be talking about more of my favourite things, like mecha shows, Devil May Cry, and other games I like. So stick around if you're into that sort of thing. Thank you for watching.